Welcome to day 211 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of December 2011, which was Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
So I guess just to uh, explain a few things. So we watched, Mission Impossible 2 a long time ago.
Yes.
It literally, I'm trying to think of like how long ago that was. At least like half a year ago from our perspective. Anyway, so and it was not
Bad.
good. Yeah.
It was bad.
But
Insanely boring.
yeah, that was the main problem. Anyway, so um yeah, so now I didn't really know too much about the series in terms of what people thought of the movies at that point, but I, kind of picked up a few things, and also actually fairly shortly after we watched it, Nostalgia Critic did a review of it. And so I watched that review, and I was looking through the comments, and it seemed like a lot of people were kind of saying, like, yeah, this is the bad one, and, like, that others were good. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I was just kind of curious. I mean, it's unfortunate we saw the bad one, but okay, that's at least something that's nice, because I knew we were going to watch this one later on, so I'm like, oh, great, are we going to see another bad thing? But then also on top of that, I saw a lot of people saying that, like, not only was 2 the bad one, but 4 was the good one, and this is the 4th one.
Oh.
So I was like, huh, okay. And then I also heard that this is directed by Brad Bird, who did The Incredibles. And so I was like, huh, okay, this actually sounds like it'll be pretty good. But I, was reserving judgment because, people have said things are good before.
Heh.
But shortly leading up to this, actually a few days ago, I had some time, and so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch Mission Impossible 3, just to kind of see how that works. And because again, looking at the reviews and stuff, it's like this one is kind of in the middle of the road between 2 and 4 in terms of like how people like it. And so I was just curious to see how it goes. And it's interesting because so now I've seen 2, 3, and 4, whereas both my entire you've just seen 2 and 4. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to me is that all 3 of them feel different.
How different? Do they all have different directors?
Yes. So they all have different
Okay.
directors. Again, the first one was, or 2 was John Woo. Yeah. The 3 is J.J. Abrams, and then this one is Brad Bird, although J.J. Abrams helped produced it as well.
Okay.
And so it's interesting because of just the stylistic differences between the 3 of them. Like, again, Mission Impossible 2, most of it was really boring and like dialogue was terrible, but then the last 20 minutes was just fucking insane. Okay.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 3, it was pretty grim for a lot of it. Again, like the opening scene is like really like tense in like oh shit kind of way, and it's actually a really interesting opening. I kind of am tempted to maybe just show you the opening of it later. But there's still some like kind of some humorous things thrown in there, but it does feel a little awkward in terms of the tone in that regard, because it's like 90% serious, but then it's like random splats of funny. Especially like this one point kind of in the middle of the film, it's like this whole scene is like pretty goofy, but then like that's not really a tone for the thing. But overall, I do like the third one a decent amount. I don't think it's great, but it's good. Definitely better than 2. This one, at least for me, what I thought was really interesting is that you could tell that this was made by the same guy as The Incredibles.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
The
Like-
sound design, especially.
Oh yeah, the sound, and then just actually the tone, because
Yeah.
it was again a serious plot. I mean, literally like nuclear war, but like it was like instead of just in 3, where the problem with 3 was that it was just kind of like an hour of serious and then 5 minutes of funny. This it was like the funny stuff was kind of sprinkled in throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was
and
so-
it wasn't like there was no tonal shift. Kind
No.
of. It just
Yeah.
it went with the plot and everything.
Because it's kind of an interesting thing about how like it's a very serious like general plot, but then there's funny stuff all on top of it. But since it's consistent with that funny stuff, it doesn't feel weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. The writing is definitely a lot better than 2.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, definitely.
The gadgets are really interesting.
yeah,
too.
no, they are
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
I like the hallway projector thingy. That was cool.
Yeah, that was like my favorite one where they just set up the projector and they like walk with it.
Yes, that was really funny and creative with that, and that, and then the whole like magnet thing near the end was just kind of weird and ridiculous. But yes, that was neat. The one problem, and I had this kind of problem with 3 as well, is that like the characterization like in 3 and 4 are both pretty good, but it does feel like, you know, hey, this is, you know, a 3rd and 4th movie in a series, so you're kind of already supposed to know these people.
Right.
Whereas we didn't see the first one, and also 2 sucked, so it kind of feels like you're starting in the middle of a series, and you're like, I should know more about these guys, but I don't.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like there's a little, like, you can't like fully connect with anyone here because of that, I feel. And like, it's not this movie's fault. It's just that, again, like, well, I don't know about 1, but at least 2 didn't succeed in that regards. That kind of makes 3 and
Right.
4 just retroactively a little bit worse.
Mm.
Or not retroactively, but whatever the opposite term. Anyway, you get what I mean. So that's something that's a little bit annoying. One thing I do think is funny is that they basically just ignore 2 in terms of plot, like, completely. It's just irrelevant. Like, there's that girl who was in 2 who was super important to the plot in 2, just not in anything else.
She was like completely replaced, you said, by the wife character.
Yeah, so then,
Yeah. Who
Ethan...
was mentioned in this movie?
Yeah, so that was the thing, because in 3, he gets married, like, in the near the beginning, but then she gets captured and involved in whatever the plot is for that. I don't want to spoil it, because I think you guys might want to maybe check it out in your own free time. But near the end, you know, she does actually, like, prove to be kind of useful, and I was like, and he actually does reveal what his job is to her, because she's not involved in this thing at first.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, cool, I hope that she actually gets, like, incorporated into the story, because I actually like her and I want her dynamic. And then she's not here, and I was kind of, like, disappointed with that, and I was like, but how they leave it with it, how they end this, it's like, that could maybe still sort of happen later on. So
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm just, you know, so that's at least something. And then, yeah, the only thing I can really think about in terms of like what I liked more from maybe one of the other films is I like the I don't see the problem with 3 of this. I don't know what word to describe him. I guess I would say secondary antagonist, but he's kind of not, of the 3rd movie. I like him more, just because I think he is the antagonists in this movie don't really have a presence.
Yeah.
Really. It's just
it
kind
was more of the situation was like the driving force rather
Yeah.
than the singular person.
Yeah, so I like the person in 3 more. I think he's better. It's the guy played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, if anyone's trying to figure out who I'm talking about.
Okay.
But yeah, I like him in 3. Here, they're not bad. They're just kind of not really done.
They're not really there
Yeah.
that much.
Well, actually, the only thing that we really noticed about any of them was that the assassin woman looks like Taylor Swift, and it's really distracting.
Oops.
So
I honestly thought it was Taylor Swift when she was walking.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first too. Oh, but one thing I did like about this movie, I don't know if you briefly mentioned that at least one of the people was in the 3rd one, but I liked having Ethan working with a team. It was nice to see him working with other people instead of like by himself or with that like weird cat burglar woman from 2 that was useless.
yeah, so 3 also had a team. The one thing that was a little bit weird is that the team between 3 and 4 are like completely different. The black guy who showed up at the end of this one, he was in the team in 3. And then Benji, Simon Pegg, who was in here, part of the team, he was a background person helping out in 3, but he wasn't part of the main team. But besides that, like, the other people are new. Like,
So it's a new team.
yeah, so it's kind of interesting just how that works. Because I think at least Well, okay, so I was looking back at 2, and there was actually technically a team in 2, but it really didn't focus on them, like, at all. It was pretty much all just Tom Cruise and that woman, so, like...
Yeah, like, I don't remember him working with the team. They were probably just, like...
Yeah.
Pretty much red shirts at that point.
Yeah, well, the black guy was also in the team for 2, and then someone else who was on the team for 3 was also in the team for 2, but again, they would not focus on in 2 at all. So
yeah.
The team for 3 though had those 2 guys and then had one other woman who was like actually competent in the team for 3. Some thought, oh, they're gonna kind of keep the characters going forward, but then it's like completely new people mostly here. So it's like, oh, okay, whatever. Doesn't really matter, but you know.
I think it does help with like the fact that because they kind of expect you to know Ethan, and you don't really. It gives you someone else to latch onto. Like I liked I don't know the actor's like actual name, but the guy who plays Hawkeye.
Yeah, I liked him too.
I liked him.
And I liked the banter between him and Benji too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Especially with the magnet.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's Simon Pegg, and he's in a couple things that I like. I know sometimes people he's sometimes kind of like annoying, kind of, because he's kind of usually like the comic relief kind of guy. But I think his style of humor works pretty well. Like he's in like the Star Trek reboots and some other things I can't think of off the top of my head that I know some people are gonna facepalm, but whatever. Yeah, so I like him. The other people, the woman here for this one,
Carter?
Yeah, she's decent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
appreciate that no one slept with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she kind of had the woman in mourning thing going on for her, so.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, well, because that's the thing is like she has to kind of play up like the sex appeal a bit, but like that's the point of the mission. So it's like, is that like it? I don't know, like how that can be construed either way, but I don't mind it because she is actually competent, and that's not like that's the only thing she does. So
yeah, she can beat people up.
Yeah, like Taylor Swift.
Like, do things.
She could kick Taylor Swift out of building.
Yeah, I can never unsee the fact that was Taylor Swift and she got beaten up by Carter.
Yeah. And just, to me, like, I look at this movie and I don't see anything as, like, amazing, but just all of it works as, like, a good package.
Yeah.
So
it all works well together.
Like, I wouldn't mind viewing it again.
Right.
Stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. So
it's a nice just regular action movie that has like some rewatch value if you feel like watching a fun movie again. But yeah, that's what it is. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Pretty much every element is good, is what I would say.
Yeah.
And then so that ends up, adding up to a pretty dang good movie. I wouldn't put anything as like special. Well, okay. Apparently, and I don't know 100% accuracy for all of this stuff because I haven't looked into it too much, but I have heard that all of the like stunts done with the Burj Khalifa like actually happened.
Oh, really?
Which
what?
Like I've heard that, and I swear I've like seen at least some like clip of something like behind the scenes, but then I look at how they did this in the movie and I'm like, are you sure that they did this for real? Because, like...
I mean, I've heard Tom Cruise does his own stunts, but, that seems a bit extreme.
Well, especially, like, okay, because I think the thing that I saw had to do with, like, him, like, with, like, the rope, like, swinging into the window or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, like, the swinging part, I could kind of believe if that was, like, for real, because maybe they could kind of hide some sort of, like, harness thing through the rope to get to him or something. But, like, when he's, like, climbing up the wall with the gloves, I'm like, how did they do this if this is real? Like, literally how? So, I don't know the details. But, yeah, so, that's the thing, I guess. But, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, if you like fun action movies, this is a fun action movie.
Yeah, in terms of, like, not thinky. I mean, it's not like a super amazing plot. Like you really have
Yeah.
to think about what's going on. But in
Yeah.
terms of that kind of a movie, like, yeah, it's good. I mean, I would the equivalent kind of movie that comes to mind in terms of like that's good like this. I would think like Die Hard, right?
Yeah.
And I would say I like Die Hard more just because I think I like the characters a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's not that far off.
Yeah.
I would say. They're somewhat close. Like, if someone said they liked this more than Die Hard, I wouldn't be like, what? How could you? Right? But, yeah. So, that's kind of how I place it, anyway. I don't know. You have anything else to say?
Not particularly. Oh,
Oh.
one random thing that I noticed
Mm-hmm.
was the car he was driving and went face down in with the airbag and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait a minute. That's on the wrong side of the car if this is like an Indian car because
Oh yeah.
it should be on the other side.
You guys drive on the right in India, I think.
Yeah. It was
Oops.
like a random thing that I noticed.
Um,
But yeah, that's about it.
okay.
Okay, so what the heck did we even watch this year?
Yeah, no, it feels like it's been forever since we started this year. But I feel like we've said that for like the last 3 years. So let's see. We started with the Green Hornet.
Speaking of cars,
Oh yeah, right, that movie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Dumb.
probably. Probably the most disappointing.
probably.
Well,
Yeah. For
it's-
like a movie with a very interesting concept, like with the way the hero is supposed to be set up, it is very disappointing because it could
Yeah.
have been done, and it could have been done really well with like
But
the
they
whole.
instead made it a frat boy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. In terms of like good idea that just didn't really work, then yeah, because honestly, like if they just made the main character like not an asshole, like that would have been much better movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah,
That's a shame.
yeah. Then we got just go with it. Oh my God.
That was a stupid.
I don't even remember what happened in the movie.
All I can say is that it wasn't disappointing. It was just as
Bad.
horrible as we expected it to be.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just aggravating and stupid. And let's move on. Rio.
Was okay-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing really noteworthy.
No.
It was our first movie in Rio, though.
Of like
The first
3
of like
or whatever.
5.
Yeah, however many.
Oh my god.
And then speaking of 5, Fast 5.
Yes. Which also took place in Rio
Yeah.
and was better than the previous
Yeah,
Fast and
Yeah,
Furious
Which-
movie we watched.
as far as I'm concerned, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So
It was okay.
yeah, that was. Well, I'd probably say still like net negative, but like not by much.
It was definitely more okay
Yeah.
than the previous one.
Yeah.
Like if someone said that they liked Fast and Furious, like the 4th one, I would have been like, really? But if someone said they liked this, I would have been like, all right, fine. You know what I mean?
We'll give it to you.
Yeah. On Stranger Tides was also just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not as good as the previous 3.
Yeah.
Doesn't need a love interest, guys.
No.
No.
Please.
And I mean, the whole movie didn't really need to exist, to be honest. I mean, it seems like they kind of wrapped things up with the last one. Whatever.
Yeah, don't even have like 2 of the main characters. from the
Yeah.
other movies. Whatever.
Basically, making a movie about Jack Sparrow with only Jack Sparrow as the main character was not a good idea.
Yeah, because he definitely can't. He can't hold up a movie by himself.
No.
So, yeah. Speaking of things that can't hold up movies by themselves, Transformers 3 happened, and I literally don't remember it at all.
All I remember is that the girl got replaced and they gave a really stupid reason as to why.
And she was like exactly the same except British.
No, literally, like, remember how I said for Transformers 3 that, like, I know I saw this in theaters and I cannot remember anything from it? I already cannot remember anything from it.
Deja vu.
Oh my god. Like, okay, no, there's a few, like, okay, I remember the bad guy was voiced by Leonard Nimoy, and he, like, was pretending to be good, but then wasn't, or
Oh yeah,
something.
I forgot about. Oh yeah, I remember Chicago got destroyed.
Oh yeah, and that was the whole fight thing in there. And then, oh yeah, like a building fell over for like 25 minutes.
And then Optimus Prime like ripped off like another robot's head and then
Oh,
his
yeah.
spine. That was
Yeah.
interesting.
So,
Not gruesome at all.
yeah, that was just forgettable, and who gives a shit. And then we had,
That Harry Potter ended.
yeah, finally an actually, like, legitimately good movie. Yeah, it's still weird to think that, like, that ended.
I know, right? It's like
Went to a corner now.
it was something that we always liked. We're like, oh yeah, now the next Harry Potter movie, and it's now like there is no next Harry Potter movie.
Nope. Well, we are at least getting into, like, more of, well, I guess if you want to call that whole thing a series, we're kind of really getting into the meat of that series, quote unquote. So
Right.
that'll be
I've
actually
heard-
starting
yeah.
back up very shortly. So that'll be something at least. But, and then, oh, well, actually, speaking of series, then the Rise of the Planet of the Apes was after that.
Yep, the prequel.
Yeah, which I think if I had to pick, actually, I think I would say that's my favorite movie of the year.
If we watched The Lion King 3D, then
Well, okay,
say that
you can't, you gotta let that go.
no, because we have to watch the stupid Hunger Games.
Yeah, okay, so when I was saying, like, kind of, I was about to say it, and then I was kind of iffy about Green Hornet being most disappointing, I was gonna argue that Hunger Games is kind of, honestly, maybe most disappointing for me, just because I legitimately
Yeah.
thought I might like it. So,
I have to agree with that too.
You guys know my opinion, so
Yeah.
let's move on
yeah.
before I start going off about it
We
again.
we already did it. Puss in Boots was
Bizarre.
just, well,
The egg.
yeah, fucking egg.
The fucking egg.
Yeah, again, it happened. Twilight happened. Let's move on.
God, it was the last movie that took place in Rio, and it's. If that sounds confusing to you, it sounds confusing to us too. Trust
Yeah,
us.
let me put it this way: I'm not delving into the Twilight canon any more than I need to try to understand what was
No.
going on. So,
And then we're here at Mission Impossible.
which at
is,
least I did think fine. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Looks like the best movies were Deathly Hallows, Planet of the Apes, and Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
yeah,
We'll leave it at that and not categorize the rest.
yeah. Well, the thing is, like, the stuff that was bad this year wasn't like horrible.
You even just go with it.
Like,
Like, objectively, sure.
okay,
but-
just go with it. It's not Tin Cup,
That is true.
right?
Yeah, it's
So
not Tin Cup.
we didn't have anything truly horrible, and like even stuff
Okay.
that was like pretty dang bad. Again, like just go with it, and like Twilight and stuff. Like, I mean, it's bad, but I don't know. I'm just trying to think like overall averages of how I would rank the year. It's like I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad, but I would say, like, the worst movies this year were just extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Like, Just Go With It was pretty frustrating. The Green Hornet, like, seeing how good the concept was and how it was executed was pretty frustrating. The Hunger Games was frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
We're not
Transformers
gonna talk
3 was,
about
like, not even there.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about November.
No, wait, actually, before, earlier today when we were, like, trying to just remember what we actually saw this year, I legitimately, in my head, I was trying to go through the months, and I was, like, thinking, like, you know, wait, what did we see for June? And then my mind was like, wait, was that Transformers 3? And I was like, no, wait, we haven't seen Transformers 3 yet. That's in 2012. But we had seen it. It was just so fucking forgettable that I literally forgot we saw it. So, yeah, that's how Do we have okay? Can we like give like Transformers 3 an award for like least mental impact in my mind like award for a movie?
Sure.
Yeah, sure, because, like, I think we both also kind of forgot. Like, I remember more from Transformers 2, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So there you
which
go.
Is not saying much.
Transformers 3 wins the award for providing or adding the least what do you call them?
Knowledge.
No.
Impact.
What's the term for a nerve cell? What's the neuron? Okay, adding the least number of neurons into my brain of any of these movies.
God.
So there you go. Congratulations, Transformers 3. You did something. Yay! You did something.
did it.
You did something by not doing anything.
That said, we start off next year with a really weird block, but we go
Yeah.
back to a series that we started a really, 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 really long time ago.
Oh my god, yeah, it has been a long time.
Yeah, 2012 is a weird year.
I'm not looking forward to 2 of the months already.
Yeah, and they're back to
Fuck.
back too. That's again the first third of 2012 is kind of a mess in terms of just the order of things and all that shit. But in terms of the movies themselves, there's actually a good amount here that's like I actually kind of looking forward to seeing.
Mm.
We're gonna
So-
see an extremely long one at the end of that year.
Yeah. So we'll figure out how that's gonna work.
Oh, lordy lord.
There's I see it. The movie.
Yeah.
There is one movie that okay. Back when we were very beginning to start this, there were like 3-ish movies that like I really, really, really wanted to see these two reactions to it. The first one for that was probably like, at least that I can remember, was actually The Phantom Menace. Just because to see,
Yeah.
witness the Star Wars prequels and, that. So that was the first one. And the second one is very soon. It's in 2012. So I am like so fucking excited. You have no idea.
It's your child.
It
Oh.
honestly is. Like, yes, oh my god. Okay, anyway. So, 2012 at least should be overall pretty interesting. But overall, I'm thinking 2011 average to slightly
Average.
above average.
Yeah.
I'm thinking slightly above just because, again, like, if you take, if you were to, rank, order all of the movies from, 1 to 12 in this year and look at the middle is just kind of, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? We've had years that were even, okay years where the middle is, kind of less than meh.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 2011's maybe, like a 5.5 out of 10 instead of a 5 out of 10 or something. I don't know. But, yeah, so I don't know. Anyway. But on to 2012.
Yeah. Where the world will not end.
From
No.
fucking mutating neutrinos. Okay, anyway.
We're past that.
Yes, we are. Okay. Alright, I guess we're done. So we'll see
Yes.
you back for 2012.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.